Today we are going to talk about something that can completely change how you feel on the bike. But it's something a lot of cyclists still overlook. It's bike fit. Okay, maybe it's not the sexiest upgrade, but if your riding position is even slightly off, you are losing comfort, power, and maybe even putting yourself at risk of injury. And it's surprising how much difference a few small adjustments can make. Hi, I'm Filip from ROUVY. In this video, I'll explain what bike fitting actually is, why it matters even if you've been riding for years, and how you can check and improve your own setup. But before we get into the details, just a quick note about me. I recently took on the biggest challenge of my life. I decided to compete in this year's full Ironman in Klagenfurt, Austria. Early in the process, I met with the experts at KOA, a specialist bike shop in Prague, to make sure my bike was perfectly fitted to my body. Those guys taught me a ton about what goes into a perfectly fitted bike. They are serious pros, so let's start simple. When we talk about a proper fit, we are really talking about how your body interacts with your bike. It's the relationship between your saddle, pedals and handlebars, and your joints, muscles and flexibility. A good bike fit puts you in a position where you can produce power efficiently, breathe well and stay comfortable for a long time. A bad fit does the opposite. You might notice it as a knee pain, tightness in your lower back, numb hands or just the nagging feeling that something's slightly off, even if you can't explain it. And here's something important. There is no single perfect position. Your ideal fit depends on your body, your mobility and the type of riding you do. Someone training for long endurance rides will sit differently from someone racing short, intense efforts. And a rider with good flexibility can usually handle a lower, more aggressive position than someone who spends most of the day sitting at a desk. So why does this actually matter, especially if you are already riding regularly? Because small inefficiencies add up. If your saddle is even a little too low, you lose power on every stroke. Too high and your hips start to rock, and over time that can lead to discomfort or injury. If your reach is too long, you might feel tension in your shoulders and neck. Too short, and your breathing can feel restricted. And the longer your rides, the more these small issues start to matter. A proper fit helps you ride longer with less fatigue, hold steady power and recover better afterwards. And honestly, it just makes riding more enjoyable. So let's go through the key contact points and what you can check yourself. We will start with the saddle, which is where most fit issues begin. Saddle height is the first thing to get right. At the bottom of the pedal stroke, your leg should be almost full extended but not locked. If the saddle is too low, your knee stays too bent and that puts extra stress on front of the joint. If it's too high, your hips will start to rock side to side and you may feel strain behind the knee or in your lower back. A simple way to check this is to film yourself from the side. Watch your hips. If they are moving a lot, the saddle is probably too high. Another quick check is the heel method. Place your heel on the pedal and rotate backwards. Your leg should fully straighten at the bottom. Then, when you clip it normally, you will have a slight bend in the knee. It's not perfect, but it gives you a solid starting point. Now the saddle position isn't only about height. The fore and aft position also plays a big role. If your saddle is too far forward, you might feel too much weight on your hands and the front of the bike. Too far back and it becomes harder to generate power, especially when climbing. A common reference point is to look at your knee when the pedals are level. The front of your knee should be roughly above the pedal axle. Again, not an exact rule, but it's a useful guide. And then there's a saddle tilt. In most cases, you want it close to the level. If the nose is too high, it can create pressure and discomfort. Too low and you will slide forward and put more weight through your arms. Even very small changes here can make a big difference. Now let's move to the front of the bike. Handlebar reach and height are what control your upper body position. If your reach is too long, you will feel stretch out, your shoulders tighten, your neck works harder and longer rides become uncomfortable. If it's too short, you can feel cramped and your breathing might feel restricted when the effort goes up. A good position gives you a slight bend in your elbows, relaxed shoulders and a neutral spine. You should feel supported, not like you are holding yourself up. Handlebar height is also important. A lower position can improve aerodynamics, but it requires flexibility and core strength. If you go too low too quickly, it often leads to discomfort in the lower back or neck. There's nothing wrong with a slightly higher front end if it means you can ride longer and stay comfortable. For most riders, especially in longer sessions, comfort usually wins. Now, one thing that's easy to forget is that your body changes. Your flexibility, your strength, and even your training goals. And your bike fit should change with it. If you start riding more indoors, for example, you might notice issues that you never felt outside. On the trainer, you are more static. You don't shift around as much, so small fit problems become much more noticeable, especially on longer sessions when you are locked into one position. That's often when riders realize something's not quite right, so it's a good idea to revisit your setup from time to time. Now, should you get a professional bike fit? If you have the option, it's definitely worth it. A professional fitter uses the tile measurements, sometimes even motion analysis to dial in your position very precisely. It can save you a lot of trial and error, but even without that, you can still make real improvements yourself. The key is to change one thing at a time. Adjust your saddle height slightly, ride a few times, and see how it feels. Then move on to the next adjustment. If you change everything at once, it's impossible to know what actually helped. And one more important point, comfort is not a weakness. A lot of riders try to force a more aggressive position because it looks fast. But if you can't hold that position for the whole ride, it's not actually faster. A slightly more comfortable position that you can maintain will almost always give you better real performance. At the end of the day, a good bike fit is about balance. It's about power, comfort and control working together. When it's right, you stop thinking about your position and you just ride. And that's really the goal. If you found this useful, take a few minutes to check your own setup. Even small adjustments can make your next ride feel really different. And if you want to learn more about training, technique and getting more out of your rides, explore more of the videos here on the ROUVY channel. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I will see you out on the road, or maybe on the bikers at Klagenfurt. I'll be the guy wearing a ROUVY jersey and riding a perfectly fitted Quintana Roo XPR. And remember, keep going!